Hello and welcome to another video. This is going to be focusing on the text functions. It's going to be a long video, but we will be able to manage it and actually learn a lot from it if we are able to actually go ahead and practice what we see. So let's go ahead and start with something, first of all, related to text functions. Of course, there is a function, it's called text. So we don't want to really confuse that with the fact that we're dealing with text, which is a string, meaning any number of characters, not numbers, any number of characters. Of course, we all know that characters include digits, include special characters, and include numbers. Let me tell you here so we can actually distinguish between certain terminology that we usually hear, but there is actually a slight difference between the meaning. If I say here, John, that is a word because it has a beginning to it and end to it. So that's a word, but it is also a string because John is made out of 4 characters, the J-O-H-N. If I say here, I love my daughter very much, okay? This is multiple word. It does actually have a beginning and have an end, but it is, we could continue to talk about how much I love my daughter. This is a string. And if I say here, I love my son as well, and I stopped right there because somebody called me or I got my attention, and I want to say very much as well, but right there at this moment still is a string, you know, even I didn't finish the word very, because the strings could be any number of characters. And if I say very or this much, you know, and I'll say 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, it's going to be all these digits are part of the string. That means they are characters. And notice that everything we have done is right aligned. If I put a 8, 9, this is a number. So this is treated as a numerical value. Of course, numbers could be integer, like 8, 9, and it could be 8.99, which is going to be a real value. Excel doesn't care which numbers you put in the cell. All of them are going to be real. We learned about how to convert a real value into an integer by using the function integer. Also, if I say here my password, something like this, $, parentheses, something, all these are actually character. So please try to understand when we apply the text functions, we are applying to strings normally, or text. The confusion comes from the fact that we have a function that's called text, T-E-X-T, just in case my accent comes across. And the string is to avoid that confusion. So when we're dealing with the strings here by using some text functions, okay? So what I'm going to do here is to start with the very first but very powerful function and how to add 2 texts together. Remember, we add 2 numbers together, but we use the plus sign. How we add 2 texts together, or 1 text and 1 number, because the eventual result is a text, we can use a function is called concatenate. Concatenate also has an operator, which is the and sign, shift 7, the ampersand. If I say my name is, let's say here, doctor, and I wanted to put another concatenation, but since I did not allow the space here after that, then it's going to be up to me to put another string, which is the space itself between the double quotes. And if I say here, my name is, and I could go ahead and put the double quotation, he charges in, but the space actually right here, if I wanted to add another space, I could put it within the double quotation. So notice that I had to put this one here as a separate in order to illustrate to you that the space is a string or part of a string. So here I missed the I, so I could go ahead and put it. and notice here is my name. How about if I have multiple names? For example, Mr. Jones and Sam, and this is their title, their last name, and their first name. I have Mrs. Smith and Jackie, and then I have Dr. Let's say Roberts and Julia. And this is basically how we could put this together. We could go ahead and use the concatenation function. I could start by saying Mr. There we go. And I need to go ahead and put a comma, but I need to separate Mr. from Mr. Sam, in this case with a space. So I'm going to put whatever is the name, and then another space, then another comma, and Jones, and here we go. So notice we have Mr. Jones, which is going to be applicable to the concatenation of the other name very easily and very nicely. I could do the same exact things instead of having to use the concatenation. This usually is more flexible, and you know, if you grow up using Excel, this is more the common one. So I could start with this one here using the ampersand and use the space, another concatenation operator. Then I would say here Sam, or I could start with Jones this time, and I'm going to go ahead and concatenate that with space after the name. Of course, we could put that in another a comma, sorry, space, and another concatenation, and put Sam. And notice here it's going to look, of course, differently because we changed the order of which part we need to concatenate first. And here we go, we get the three names absolutely in the way that we want it. So concatenation is a very powerful function. But let me tell you also, concatenation can be used really good when you're trying to put words together. For example, if I go to another sheet here, and I'm going to go ahead and zoom that for 200%, and we're going to continue with the fact that, let's say here, name of the employee, and that's their salary, and their raise is going to be this way, and also I'm going to actually calculate the new salary, and look here. It's going to really be very nice and helpful because, first of all, I'm going to go ahead and copy this, or cut it is a better choice, of course, and put it really here and organize my life a little bit better. So aligning this, I'm actually using this data as one single message that is going to be taken to Word for for mail merge or mailing merge. So let's go ahead and start with this. This is basically John, any name that comes to my mind, Mary, Sally, Tony, and so forth. This is John's old salary, $89,000, and raise, let's say 5%. I'm not going to treat people differently here, so we're going to all have 5% raise. It doesn't matter the salary. Let's say here 90,000 for Mary, and Sally, let's say 125,000, and Tony, who is a friend of mine, let's go ahead and give him, just many of my friends are named, the forename doesn't matter. But if I go ahead and do this as a salary, and notice here, I could actually calculate the new salary based on the fact that this is going to be added to the 5% of the salary, which is, this is multiplied by the original salary, and here is the new salary. Not enough space, no big deal. We could go ahead and expand that one. Here we go. Another expansion, no big deal. So what am I going to do here, because I'm trying to prepare myself here, I'm going to name this sheet as, to prepare myself for it, mail merge, because that's what I'm going to actually use it for. So in order to show you also some of the limitation of Excel, we're going to do that. This is the message that I'm going to take from here to Word later. And I'm going to say here, this is my message for the whole letter, but you will see there is a limitation to Microsoft Excel. When you concatenate a formatted salary it's going to drop the formatting because it's going to look at it as a actual characters and it's going to remove it. But we could restate it with another function that is way too powerful. You will see that in a second. So I will say here, hello, John. See, look here. I'm concatenating this with more meaningful way. John is the variable here because I want to apply that to Mary, Sally, and Tony. Hello, John, and I'm going to go ahead and say another concatenation, comma, of course, between double quotes, and I say, as you know, your old salary, okay, was, and I'm going to go ahead and close that double quotation and concatenate that with the old salary. And notice the old salary already formatted with $sign, saying I didn't really see a happy ending because everything in a concatenation is going to drop the formatting. All right, but we'll fix it. And I'll say, then I will say here, after your raise of, look here, and I'm going to go ahead and concatenate that as well with the 5%, okay, and I'm going to put another concatenation. Your in-use salary, I'm going to put a comma here. Hopefully nobody is looking after my grammar at this point. Your in-use salary is, and we're going to go ahead and concatenate with that in your salary here, and which is going to be, let me go ahead and scroll all the way down to this one here, and 1 second here. Okay, maybe I missed something here. I need to put the ampersand. That's why it did go crazy in me. So notice here, I'm going to make it a bigger, so we could be able to see it without having to scroll all over the place. There we go. Actually, I've got this one here, so I'm going to put it in the right position. And let me go ahead and take that out. See, you can see what I'm doing here in a second. And lucky for us that I'm making mistakes, so I could learn from them. So basically, this is what we're going to see. Notice that the concatenation dropped. Hello, John, as you know, your old salary was this much, and your raise of 5% dropped also the percentage out. Your new salary is, and we could put also a dot at the end, because I'm going to take that as a complete statement to, look here, I'm putting the dot between double quotation to Word. So how do we format that $89,000 as a dollar figure? No big deal. There is a function. Let me show you here. Actually, I could build it directly in the original concatenation, so you will not be afraid of doing it by yourself. This is where is B2. That's the old salary. The name of the function is text, and we're going to be using that for other things. Text. And I'm going to take the first parameter, which is the actual value. Between double quotation, I'm going to put the $sign. I'm going to put £, which is going to represent a value, a number, and I'm going to say, okay, if you have more than three digits, put a comma as the regular formatting. And also, don't forget, this might be $9,000.55. In this case, it's not, but keep also the decimal point and the 2 digits to the right of the decimal point, because we don't want to really dump anything from the salary. Here we go. Look here. Where is the mistake I made here? No big deal. There was a miss. Go ahead and make it a little bit larger. We'll be able to see it. Look here. The $89,000 was formatted correctly. The same thing, I could go ahead and format the 5% as a percentage. I'm going to go ahead and make it mechanically formatted. You could multiply that by 100 just to make sure that you could be creative, of course, and we're going to then concatenate the result with the percentage sign. So I could format that automatically using another way. I'm using the other function to format it, but I wanted to specifically do it this way in order for you to use your imagination in the future, because in order to get C2, which was given to me as 0.05, you multiply it by 100, then you can concatenate that percentage sign to make it as percentage. Here we go, let me show you. So you see here the 5% was turned into percentage because I multiplied the 5 by the 100. What left for us is to convert the new salary into the actual formatting very easily. Since I have it here, I could go ahead and say Control C, and on the top of this I'll say Control V, but don't ever forget that this is not the right cell. The right cell is this one here. And what we're going to do here is to click that. Everything is relative. Look how beautiful it is. And we're going to go ahead and do that for everybody else. So now is the beauty of this is going to save this into anywhere we want to. I'm going to go ahead and save it into, for now, I'm going to save it into, I could create any folder. I'm going to go ahead and create it and download because I don't want to really spend time navigating back and forth. And I'm going to go ahead and create here a folder, test mail merge. So I just can start with mail, so it will be easy. Mail merge, and here mail merge, and I'm going to open that, and I'm going to leave function here, or the name of the function, or the name of the file. I'm going to call it mail. Okay, and there's a lot of other shit, of course, there. So in case, so this is, I'm going to leave it as an old format, no big deal. And here I'm going to start by activating Word, and I'm going to show you very quickly how we could go ahead and use this as a mail merge. I know it's a long video, but it's going to be a huge benefit for you when you're trying to write 300 letters after you graduate to as many employers with one letter, as long as you have access to their mails and their email, of course. You can send the email directly. So let's go ahead and start and see the beauty of how we can integrate Word with Excel after we combine all these different cells in Excel to make a big long message from it. So we're going to start here, and I'm going to insert in Word my date, and I'm going to make it a dynamic date, so it's going to change. Here it is. Notice here is a dynamic date by checking this mark. You can choose whatever format you want. I'm going to leave it as this, and maybe I could make it a little bit bigger so I'll be able to see it, not that big. Right, and head enter. So I'm going to say here, start the letter. I'm saying dear. What is dear what? Of course, dear. Supposedly we have a last name. If we don't have a last name, no big deal. But we also could have the title, and we could have. Let me go ahead and make that more meaningful for you. So I'm going to go back to the original one, and I'm going to enter here another sheet, another one second here. It's supposed to be first here. I'm going to call it first. And I'm going to go ahead and insert another column. This is going to be title. And let's say Dr. John, Miss Mary, and Dr. Sally, and Dr. Tony. And we're going to go ahead and add here another, there we go, that's the last name. And we're going to say here John Smith, and Mary Perez, and Sally Roberts, and Tony Smith, Tony Hijazi. We'll accept that probably for now. And we're going to go ahead and save that, and go ahead and close that, and I could go ahead and even leave this open or close, it doesn't matter. I'm going to go back to my Word, and now we're going to go to the mailing, and I'm going to start mail merge, and it is already a letter, so there's nothing going to change about this. I need to select the recipient here, and I'm going to use an existing list, which is Microsoft Excel is an existing list. I'm going to go to my downloads, that's where, and I'm going to type only the first letter. It will pick it up for me, the folder mail. There we go. Mail merge. It's going to look it up. Here we go. I'm going to click on it. And here is my file. Now the file behind the scene is integrated, but I want to tell it which one really need to focus on is my mail merge sheet. That's why I had a meaningful name for it. And now mail merge is already behind the scene. I'm going to go ahead and insert the merge field. Here is the mail merge field. I'm going to say dear title first. It's supposed to be title, not title. Titles, that's misspelled. Of course, you will excuse me for that, please. And I'm going to put a space here. Okay, close, space. And I'm going to insert another one. That's what I do frequently when I'm in a hurry, is to go ahead and make a lot of mistakes in my spelling. So I'm going to say dear Dr. Hijazi or dear Dr. Roberts and comma. And now we're going to go ahead and say based on our record. Here we go, based on our record. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and insert the whole message. The whole message, insert here, look here, the whole message. I don't have to tell them anything else because I did combine that. And here we go. If you have any questions, please call HR. Truly yours, and whatever the name, and that's it. Now, what are we going to do? Now we have the message. I'm going to go ahead and review the result. Look here, that's the first, dear Dr. Smith, based on our record. Actually, I should not have based on our record. I could delete that. I can delete it because I had it in the message. I say, hello, John, or I could go back and change John to, hello, Dr. Smith. So it would be more appropriate. I'm not really trying to be 100% accurate when it comes to the wording and all this stuff. I hope I am 100% in how I combine things. You could take that completely out if you don't want to. At least I showed you how to do it. But you could say hello, John, even when you address them by their first name since they work with you. That's another option. Since I'm doing most of I like to do things spontaneously. I don't like to plan for my lecture because I want to really be acting like a robots here. So I don't think way ahead of my videos, so please excuse me when I make a mistake similar to this. What's important for you is really to get to use it with your own imagination, not my own. So as you know, your old salary was and your praise after you guys resolve, go ahead and get somebody to read your grammar. And here we go. We had another period. I should not have that period. And as you notice, it's going to be a full letter. And I could go ahead and say, this is Mary, this is Sally, and this is Tony. And very easily, I could go ahead and mail that if you want, if you had that email as part of that list in Excel, you could email them. Or if you wanted to really print the whole document and or edit each one individually, it will be able to select whatever of these documents you need to print, or you can say from 1 to 4, since we have already only four in this. If you have 300, you can see how much powerful this approach is and how efficient it is. And we all know what efficiency means is to really use your time to the max by being very productive. So I'm going to stop here because this is way too long of a video, but I hope you will excuse me, and I needed to share that with you. Okay? Thank you very much for watching, and we'll continue with another video.